Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm super excited to be doing a comparison on our three most recent LEGO Hogwarts Express sets. At the back, we do have the gigantic direct-to-consumer set. I forget the set number, but it retails for $500 and it came out not summer, last September. Then in the middle, we have the 2018 Hogwarts Express, the very first one since the Harry Potter theme was rebooted. And then in front, we have the newest one, which was the Hogwarts Express and Hogsmeade Station, and that released in June of 2023. So these are three very different sets. I'm really excited to talk about them. Of course, it is a little bit ridiculous to compare the two like minifigure compatible versions with the gigantic true minifigure scale version that is the direct to consumer set, but I like doing ridiculous comparisons on this channel. And I think it actually does make a lot of sense. So I'll kind of walk you through what I'm thinking when I look at these three sets together. Before I really get into it, though, I do want to remind everyone that I am an employee of the LEGO Group. However, all opinions expressed in these videos are my own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the LEGO Group, and LEGO is a registered trademark of the LEGO Group of companies, which does not sponsor, authorize, or endorse this site. So I kind of want to walk you guys through what I was thinking, because obviously these are three very different sets. Like they're really made for different purposes, and this is kind of what I was thinking when I started putting this comparison together. The direct to consumer one at the back, that's a collector's set. That's meant for kind of like adults only because of the price, because of the detail, because of the displayability, and kind of like the lack of play features. I think the middle set is made for both collectors and for kids. It's a great play set, but it also looks really nice on display. And then I think the most recent set, the one right in front, you can already tell his color scheme is different, like with the roof and everything. I think that set is made just for kids. It's just a toy train and it doesn't really appeal to collectors as much. So that's why I wanted to compare all three of these instead of just like the two that are more similar in size. And I will say that all of these sets did come with stations. So the large direct-to-consumer one comes with platform 9 3/4. The middle one from 2018 did come with a section of King's Cross, including platform 9 3/4. And then the one at the very front came with a little slice of Hogsmeade with the Hogsmeade station. However, I'm not including those stations in this comparison because truthfully, it's really hard to get the platform 9 3/4 one for the big direct to consumer set. It's difficult to get that out of my overall Harry Potter display. I also don't have the station from the 2018 train assembled, and I just don't feel like assembling it. And I do have the Hogsmeade station, but I'm not just going to throw that one into this review only. So that's why the stations aren't here. I will say, though, that all three of them are great builds, and I love this trend of getting stations with the train sets because I think it really makes them a lot cooler. I'd like to take this comparison car by car, so we're going to start with the three locomotives. Obviously, we already know which one is the biggest, but the newest one is actually the smallest. That's why I think it's a little bit more toyish than it is for collectors or for displaying. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that because Lego is a children's toy and, that's what it should be. However, I personally like the 2018 set better than the 2023 one because I think it strikes the perfect balance between the two things. So I just kind of like the detail on this one better, especially up at the front compared to the detail on the front of this train. Also, this one is just like, again, a little bit more polished, like with those subtler details than this one is. It's stuff like how that's a sticker and that's a print that really, I think, kind of makes the difference for me. However, this one has an improvement over the 2018 because the 2018, the front wheels kind of just wiggle freely, but this one actually locks them in place and then unlocks them so it can go around track. So I do appreciate that. I also think that the shaping on the 2018 version is a little bit better, although the shaping definitely isn't bad on the newest one. And then I do have the conductor on this one, and I don't think this set came with a conductor, but inside they just have similar detail, like with, let me move them out of the way, with like some mechanical detail and then some flames. I also really don't like this though. This is also what makes this more toyish than collector focused, is that this color shouldn't be here. You shouldn't see a giant block of orange on the Hogwarts Express, and covering that up just makes a cleaner, more polished look like you have on this version. Whoops. I also really like the way the pistons, I think they are. I don't know, I'm not a train person, but the way that they move as you roll this one whereas on this version, they're really like just for show. They don't move at all. But of course, the big set has them both beat because, oops, let's not break it. But as you move, it has like multiple pistons moving. And as you can see, when it's static on its track, you can also just turn this knob to get that moving functionality, even though it can't actually like go back and forth on the track. This version also has some printed parts. The front of it is really built up with like a ton of detail. And then at the back, that's not supposed to be tilted like that. And then all the way at the back, you do have a conductor in here as well, but you also just have mechanical detail. There's none of like that fire or anything, because I think that, again, that's more exciting for kids than for adult collectors. So this is definitely like the cleanest like interior bit of detail on the cab. Moving on to the tender cars, you can see a pretty clear proportion difference between these three. Of course, the best one is the largest one just because it's the most accurate. It has actual brick built detailing instead of only relying on stickers, although it does, of course, rely on them as well. And basically, this car just holds the coal. I think that's pretty much all it does. This is the lightest part of the big direct to consumer set. So honestly, like this thing is way lighter than you would expect for its size because it's just completely hollow on the inside. You just get the illusion of the car being full of coal, even though it actually isn't, because that would be a waste of pieces. So yeah, this thing is supposed to be a pretty wide car, but then on the 2018 Hogwarts Express, you have a pretty boxy square car. I do like this sticker, and it does have, like the bars at the end. It does have some coal, but it isn't super detailed on top. But that's because you can open it up and store luggage in here. And this is, sorry, it's like super dark in there. I don't know if you can even see anything. But this is like the same kind of thing that was done on the 2010 Hogwarts Express set, and I really loved it. But now seeing the tender car next to the other two, that is my least favorite one. And my desk is slightly slanted, so we'll just let that roll out of the way. The car from the 2023 train is surprisingly like more accurate than the 2018 one. It does have a little bit more detail on top. However, it doesn't have any storage, and that's something I think is a shame because honestly, you don't really get any luggage with the 2023 train, which I think is kind of a miss because I do love getting luggage for the characters. And I really love having somewhere to store the luggage. So it's cool that this one has accessory clips and a little bit more coal detail, but I do prefer having like usable storage space than just a tiny bit more detail. Although the accurate shaping, I think, is the best part of this one, and it does have the accurate 6 wheels versus just the 4 on the 2018 car. And lastly, we come to the passenger cars, which many would say is the most interesting part of the train, and probably my favorite because I love a good locomotive, but I love interior spaces. I love being able to pose minifigures, and so I do really appreciate a nice passenger car. We have some pretty different designs here. It's kind of hard to say which one is the most accurate. I do think that the 2018 one is more accurate than the 2023 one, but I mean, of course, the direct to consumer one is the most accurate. The 2023 one here is where you can really see what I'm saying, like where it becomes a toy rather than like something that works for both kids and collectors, at least in my opinion, because it's got the smaller windows, which are inaccurate to the carriage. It's got like those little bars on the ends, which I don't think are accurate. Although, I mean, maybe they're supposed to be door handles. I don't know. They look a little bit out of place to me. You also have the gray roof, which is completely like just not what it's supposed to be. And then yeah, that kind of like flame yellowish orange and dark red, not fringe, trim. That's what I was trying to say. And overall, it looks very different. It's going for something completely different than the other two carriages, which is fine, but it does mean that it's my least favorite. You can also see it's like the smallest and the squattest. It gives it like again a kind of toyish charm, but so I mean like I still like the design. It's just not personally what I like the most out of what I see here. But anyway, these are also sliding all over the table. But inside the 2018 one, we have a couple of very nice plush seats. I really love the way these seats are built up, and there's just barely enough space for the trolley, which is carriage in the middle. But I like that that's like a mainstay of every Hogwarts Express set. You also have these little doorways that don't close at either end, so you can move from compartment to compartment. So I do appreciate that. Now, what the 2023 set gives us is something we've never seen before, which is two carriages in a Hogwarts Express set. Or rather, we've never seen it in the modern era. We might have seen it in, like, again, a previous set from like the early 2000s, but those are not my area of expertise. These cars are not exactly the same, but I really like the way they open with a removable roof and a removable wall. I think that the removable wall makes it way easier to pose minifigures, and it's definitely a feature that I like, and it's one that is absent on the 2015 set at least. Oh, no, it is not absent. Or sorry, not 2015, 2018 set. But no, it is not absent. This one has a removable wall as well. That tells you how long it's been since I built this set. But yeah, there is a much nicer look. These seats are really great because they're built up. The seats in the 2023 version are just standard Lego minifigure seats. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just means it prioritizes function over appearance. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going for both appearance and function. But anyway, I appreciate how there's like this space in the middle to put luggage, although again, there's no luggage included in the set. And you do have enough space for the minifigures to stand while still holding some accessories, which is nice. And then in the second car, you have three more seats and then a much better space to put the trolley witch. So I appreciate that. I feel like I just said I appreciate that way too many times in a row. But yeah, she has a much nicer cart in this set as well with more suites. And she does stand on a stud back there, so she's not going to be rattling around. So that's a nice touch. And overall, again, like this is a very well designed carriage. It's just quite different than the other one. And something else that I like, those are all short minifigures, right? So if you want to have the trolley witch standing, you can see that she pokes up past like the edge of the walls, but you have like these little recesses built into the roof so that it can still fit minifigures of all sizes. And again, it's just a nice touch, and it's something that I like. Moving on to the big one, which is obviously the best because it looks the best, it has the most accurate shape, everything about it is pretty much perfect in my opinion. This was my biggest problem with the direct to consumer set though. I wanted two carriages for a $500 set, not just one. And this one is great. It's again like perfectly minifigure scale, totally accurate, but the 2023 set does give us those two carriages. This one opens in a very interesting way. You can take off these walls to view different sections from the movies, and you can see just how accurate these compartments are. You have a couple of different styles here. You have a four-seater compartment, which I will try to zoom in on a little bit. So you have the four-seater compartment here. You do have like sliding doors and everything, and there are light bricks, which is another nice touch. And so these two compartments are pretty much the same. But then you also have this area of the train that has like more mass seating, so it's not private compartments. And all of these are built up seats using minifigure chairs, but then adding a lot of like style to them. And you can see like a ton of figures here. I think it's like seven or eight that you can fit in here, and obviously enough space for people to stand around. So that's really great. You also have spaces on either end of the train, so you can kind of get glimpses in there if you open the door, or you can take off these roof sections. And let me try to tilt this. And actually, let me zoom out a little bit. But you've got the trolley witch in there with a much thinner cart and some luggage. And then all the way back here, if I want to take off this roof section as well, you have even more space for minifigures to stand. And again, opening doors is much appreciated. So, of course, a direct to consumer set with this kind of detail and part count is always going to win. But I have to say that these are very comparable, in my opinion, the passenger cars. They all serve the function that they need to, and they all look good for the most part, even if they look a little bit toyish, which is what I don't personally prefer. So that's great to see. To be perfectly honest with you guys, Lego trains are not my bread and butter. My favorite Lego structures are castles and pirate ships, and I do like trains for sure, but I just don't love them the same way that I think other AFOLs do. That being said, I do love the Hogwarts Express, and doing this comparison video has really ignited like a love of Lego trains for me, but it's mostly because of the 2018 one. I think that the 2018 Hogwarts Express is the best one shown here because, of course, quality-wise, the big collector's edition set is the best. But it's also $500, and that's very, very expensive for a toy. And yeah, it's an adult collector's item, whatever. But when I'm talking about children that can buy a train, I think that the 2018 set is the best. I do like the 2023 one more than I expected, but you can really see, like, when their locomotives are side by side, just how simplified it is compared to the 2018 one. And I just really like that balance that was struck from 2018 to 2020 with the Lego Harry Potter sets, where they were great for kids and great for collectors. And I'm an adult. I also like playing with my Lego sets, so that was the sweet spot for me. I don't think you can go wrong with any Hogwarts Express set, though, to be quite honest, because, like I said, the 2023 set, we get Hogsmeade Station for the first time, we get 2 passenger cars. There's plenty of playability, and I do think that each set brings you something unique. You know, the 2023 set, even though it's for children, is more accurate to the real train than the 2018 set when it comes to aspects like the tender car, which is a more accurate shape on the 2023 one. So I don't know. I think that there's pros and cons to all of these sets, but I just wanted to take a look at our 3 most recent Hogwarts Expresses. I'm sorry I couldn't include the 2010 version in here, but that was the one I had when I was a kid, and I just have so many fond memories of playing with it. And I think that, again, you can't go wrong with any of these. So let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and I'll see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.